Okay. So, welcome everybody, and welcome to AIPC Kolkata South Chapter's webinar on cyber harassment of women. And there's a small PPT that has been made by the chapter. We will just like to share that on the screen. Is my screen visible to all?
Yeah, it's showing that the screen is sharing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, great. So it's a very, very relevant topic that we have picked up on this day. And lots and lots of thanks to Mr. Ehsan Sheikh, the president of the chapter, Monalisa Chakraborty, the vice president, Krishna Nuna, the secretary of the chapter, to have taken this first initiative from AIPC Kolkata South. It is a series of the AIPC webinars that we are taking part, and cyber harassment of women on this particular day is something very, very relevant. Yeah, right. Okay. So, there are various types of cyber harassments these days: cross-platform harassment, cyber exploitation, non-sensual photography, defamation, breach of privacy, gender-based slurs and harassments, slut shaming, doxing, false accusations, blasphemy, stalking, trafficking, hate speeches, online trolling, various kinds of harassments that are going on, and women are the epicenter of these kind of harassments that go on. So some of the statistics that the team has put up before for everybody to ponder upon are 8 of 10 of the people in India have experienced some kind of online harassment. More than 40% women in India have experienced sexual harassment in the cyberspace, according to the Hindu. And today, I think there's a news in NDTV which says that 58%, more than 58% people in all over the world, women face abuse on social media. According to Scroll, cyberbullying of Indian women and teenagers rose by 56% in one single year, whereas conviction rates fell from 40% to 25%. There is some matrix that I have put from my side also here. If you can see the online bullying matrix, India versus worldwide average. If you look at the statistics, it will so sadly show you that bullying online is way higher in India than the entire world's average. Bullying someone online, being bullied by someone online is way average ahead. India's average is way ahead than other countries. And though the formal school policy is better than the world average, but this is the condition that we have. The knowledge about online bullying is still higher. We worry about online bullying. We are aware about the issue, but still this number is alarming. Also, there's another piece of statistics that the team has come up with. If you look at this cyber crime statistics of Bengal, so reportedly 2011 to 2016, if I can ask everybody to mute, please, other than the panelists, of course. The crime rates 2011 to 2016, if you can see, there's an exponential growth.
Deepshika, I think you can mute everybody. You might
Yeah,
have the option.
I think I have to do that now. 1 second.
Deepshika, please mute everybody when the presentation is going on.
Yeah, let me do that.
Parthada, kindly mute your device. Parthada.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Is
Yeah.
it stable now? Okay, great.
Yeah.
Sorry. So coming back to that presentation. So as we are saying that cyber crimes reported in Bengal. Cyber crime statistics of Bengal from 2011 to 2016 onwards, if you can see, there is an exponential growth. And there's also something which says that cybercrime reported in Bengal is just at the nascent stage, and many cases go unreported. And the data availability in the public domain shows that crimes have been increasing as the years go on. So there are very many legal provisions, and Sushnigdo will be able to highlight on that more than me. So under the section 345A of IPC, people posting lewd comments on social media can be imprisoned for 1 to 3 years. Section 354 of IPC protects women against voyeurism. Section 499 of IPC, in the defamation, it covers anybody making derogatory comments on social media or posting obscene images, which can be liable to be imprisoned for 2 years. Cybercrime against women are mostly registered under IT Act, and Section 66A of IT Act covers online threats of rape, abuse, and sending offensive messages, hacking of social media account, of defaming women, and also it is punishable for violation of privacy. 67A of IT Act deals with punishment of publishing sexual explicit content, the most commonly used act in the registered cybercrime cases. However, the cases registered under these sections are abnormally low. While it is easy for the police to actually arrest somebody, but while they are doing the charge sheets, it becomes very difficult to trace the authentic source of these offensive messages.
হ্যাঁ তাই তো দেখলাম বাবা কবে থেকে বলছে রোজ।
Who was that? Everybody, can you please mute?
I would request everybody to please mute the microphones. Yeah. Deepshika, carry on.
Yeah. So with this interactive, we have the objective to explore the drawbacks of the existing legal provisions, to discuss about the further legislations if required, to book every case under the law. For example, no specific law to punish acts of online trolling or doxing is presently there. To find out the causes of very low count of registered complaints, to find out ways to make women aware of the different kinds of cyber harassment and encourage them to register complaints under the law. And finally, the most important objective that we have taken up with this initiative is to design a pilot project like the one of Cyber Safe Women in Maharashtra to facilitate complaint registration and quick action. So these are some of the things that we are going to discuss. And today we have on our panel Ms. Payal Ghosh, women rights activist and an FRM XLRI alumnus with 15 years of experience spanning over financial industry, customer service, operations, compliance, sales, marketing, distribution management, portfolio management, client acquisition across Eastern and Southern India. And Payal has worked across organizations like BNP Paribas, AMC, Royal Bank of Scotland in her previous roles. She has spent the last 4 years in running Clean Hives, an organization that promotes sustainable living and waste management best practices. We will like Payal to take over and share her thoughts on this, and then we will come to Sushnigdo, our legal friend, to talk about the legal rights and the remedies that are available. So Payal, please take over.
Thank you.
Deepshika, please make Payal the host. She has a
Payal.
presentation.
Yeah.
Payal, you have the
Payal,
presentation.
Payal, can you put the
Yes,
presentation?
Yes, I have the presentation. Give me a moment, please. You'll have to make me the host.
I am doing that.
Otherwise, okay.
Okay, Payal, please go.
Okay.
You're the host now.
Yeah, give me a moment. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes.
So, hello everybody, good evening. I would have liked this to be a more interactive meet, as in where we could have, actual experiences of everybody, where we are talking about what we actually face, specifically women, because this is about women. However, I mean, what I understand of the agenda and how we are going to go through today is Deepshika has already talked about the statistics, so I won't bore you with that. But one thing that really surprised me about I wouldn't say surprised me, but made me smile about the statistics is Deepshika said that 1 out of 2 women face harassment online, perhaps people who are online. And I'm very sure we are more than 1,000 people online from Bengal, 1,000 women online from Bengal, and the complaints registered, which has exponentially increased, is 478. So you can understand the huge disparity that is there between people who face online harassment and people who actually get to report it. People who understand that it's a crime, it can be at all reported, that's also another gap. And these are the gaps I hope to some extent will be bridged in today's discussion, if not entirely. So yes, we have a problem with the mindset. We have the problem of awareness, of implementation, and as Deepshika said, Shusnigdha will take up the detailing of the laws and provisions that are there, and then hopefully we'll get to solutions today. So with that in mind, certain things that are already there in our cybercrime.gov.in is one is child pornography. It can be reported. Cyberbullying can be reported from the website. This is a central government website. And cyber stalking can be reported. Cyber grooming can be reported. For those who don't know what cyber grooming is, it is when a elder person or older person keeps a contact online with a younger person, online or offline for that matter. Grooming is a term which can be used both online and offline. So specifically a younger person less than 18 years, they basically groom that person in order to later have sexual contact with them. So it's basically a preparation of a person while they are not yet fully formed. So cyber grooming is recognized as an offense, as a crime. Online sextortion, so using your images, your data to extort any kind of favors, sexual favors or money or anything. We know extortion.
Can
Yes.
you make your presentations full screen, please?
Full screen, sure.
Yeah. I think somebody is not being able to see the text.
Okay, give me a moment.
Make it a slideshow, Payal.
Yes. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Sorry, my mistake. So yes, so what I was saying is, cyber grooming is that, and then there's online sextortion, where you use the images of somebody to extort money or sexual favors. Then there's sexting. Interestingly, it says sexting is an act of sending sexually explicit digital images. Interestingly enough, it doesn't mention consent anywhere. And this is one thing that I have seen as a lack in the Indian laws. We do not talk about consent much in the laws. It is usually a little unidirectional, and as Shusnigdha will explain later, the law considers women and children as weaker beings who need to be protected. So women's consent perhaps doesn't yet matter so much in the law. But yeah, consent is a big thing. If you're talking about sexting and you're consensually sexting, it should not be a problem. But the bigger limelight should be on the breach of privacy when somebody is without consent sharing your images with some third person. So that is where the problem is. The problem is not inherently in consensual sexting. So having said these, there are of course lots of gaps, like Deepshika was mentioning, and a lot of things fall through the sieve, so to say, where there's implementation problems, there's awareness problems, so lots of gaps there. Now coming some more statistics. Online harassment is the third most reported crime. Cyberbullying rose by 36%. No, surprises there. 9.2% of respondents of a particular survey had faced cyberbullying, and half of them went unreported. So we see even 25% adolescents have seen mocked videos or images of themselves, and half went unreported. As we go on increasing our internet exposure, our vulnerability rises with every hour we spend on the internet. So these are facts. There are more facts, in fact. Facts like stalking, for example. 95% of the victims of stalking are 70% victims are women, and 80% of the defendants are men. Okay, this is a worldwide data. And again, if you take this thing of case of revenge porn. Revenge porn has become an industry in India by itself. 95% of victims of revenge porn are women. and I would say the other 5% would be from the other genders, not males. So LGBTQAI community. So that is the kind of statistics we are talking about. And like I said, in India, revenge porn is an economy by itself. It's an industry by itself. It's no longer a small part of what we are dealing with. So then comes about the questions about awareness. Do we know that these are crimes? When, for example, when we talk about harassment, does it only start with sharing our pictures without our authorization? It even starts with calling us names. For example, there are a lot of, in fact, most of our slurs, it's difficult to find slurs in slurs, gali, abuses that do not involve women. Okay, either women's body parts are slurs, or something you will do to a mother of the person you're angry with, or the sister, a rape threat to the mother or the sister is the slur, right? Or you're calling them that they are doing something with the mother or their sisters. So everything, I mean, our entire society's thought process is built in such a way that every negative thing is associated, it has to be a woman, right? So do we even realize that when somebody calls us a bitch, even that seemingly harmless word is actually harassment, right? Because where does it start? That's where it starts. That's what we have to understand. Then the other problem comes is when you have to go and face a police officer. If you can't really make a complaint online and you have to go to the police station and out of...
Swati, can you please mute yourself?
হ্যাঁ কেন?
Payal, can you please mute
I'll
Swati?
check.
তোমার আবার এক অ্যাড্রেস তো তাই ওরা
Actually, the people are waiting. Kindly let them in.
Sorry.
Yeah, Payal has to do that.
Yeah, I'm just checking.
Payal, there are some people who are at the
Yeah,
who are at the
checking that.
guest lobby.
Okay.
You have to kind.
Oh, I have to accept people in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Admit
I'm
them.
not seeing any accepting thing. Okay.
Payal, why don't I deal with the
Presentation?
PPT and
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can do that.
I
So
have
how
the
do I?
presentation.
Sure.
You can make me the host and I can do that part and you can speak, please.
Can you guide me from where I do that? Send you the
Yeah.
hosting,
You are
right?
your host on the participants list. You can see yourself as host. You go to more with me and then you can
Okay.
make me.
Give me a moment.
I am sorry everybody for all this.
Done, Deepshika. Can you take over?
Thank you. Okay. So I am sharing my screen.
Should I stop sharing?
Yes, please. Okay, can everybody see my screen?
Yeah,
Yes.
Deepshika, just make
One
it a
second. One second. There are two people who are actually waiting at the lobby. Quickly, we'll just take them in. Sharnali is there. Finally. Welcome, Sharnali. Welcome, Oruj. And yeah, I think you can continue. I'm putting it on the slideshow mode.
Sure. So, yeah. So I was talking. Should I continue, Deepika?
Yeah, please.
So I was talking about facing male police officers. How does it go? So when you're going to report cyber harassment. I mean, reporting harassment itself is a big deal, and then cyber harassment is another question. I remember I had to once walk into the police station to make a general diary for a lost PO, this thing. What do you call it? Post order, money order kind of thing, okay, from the bank. So it's like a check, and it's long back, and at that time the police officers were laughing at me, saying, what are you talking about? We get that as our salary. Where did you get it from? How do you get that kind of an instrument with you? And they just refused to listen to me. So I actually had to sit down and I had to get angry. I mean, I had to show I was angry. And I had to say, listen, Mr. So and so, I need you to make a diary, and whatever I'll write, I have a right to write. So just let me write that and give me a copy of that, because I need to go to the bank and get my instrument reissued. And he was basically, sitting with his legs on the table, and the typical Hindi film scene that you see was happening there, right? And imagine a woman going with a case of harassment, and on top of that, cyber harassment. What will they understand
So
of cyber
why do you
harassment?
think this happens? That why is the police so non-cooperative with such cases? Though 66A makes it very easy for people to actually go and put up cases of this sort. Why does this happen? Why is this?
I think at one level there is, of course, there's not enough awareness from the police's side. I would say that. The bigger thing, I think, is there's no empathy. Okay, when a woman goes, even today in society, even in the media, you will see when a woman is telling you that something happened, the first question you ask is, why were you out late? Why didn't you keep your profile locked? Why did you not block that fellow when he started talking to you? Why were you sexting at all? Why did you at all send him your images? Even if they know that she was in a relationship with that person, the question will be on the woman. Why did you at all send images? Who sent such images? The question is never on the person who has breached her trust. It is never on the person who has harassed her, who has molested her. It is never on the society as to why a woman can't go for a run at 11 at night or even 2 at night. Okay, we talk of privileges as a woman. Ask any man, does he ever think twice before getting into a crowded bus? Other than the physical discomfort, does he have to think like, will somebody pinch me? No. Going online, does a man ever have to think that somebody will call me a slut? No. So it's a question of society. The police are just not ready to empathize where women
And
are
you think
coming from.
patriarchy and
Of course. That's the whole
superiority of men.
cauldron. That's the whole cauldron of the boiling stew. So that's a huge. That's like somebody was telling me some days about a term called boiling the ocean. Okay.
So at this point, I would like to bring in Sushnigdho, that the provisions legal arena has given us, laws have given us. Where do we stand, and how can women actually take some help from these legal provisions to make things happen? Force the police to actually take down the cases. Sushnigdho.
First of all, we need to understand the topic, why the topic is concentrated on the women only, not men. Our constitution under Article 15(3) has stated, but you can say our constitution or Indian law considers the women and the children as the weaker sections of the society, as Payal told. The thing is, even today, how much we say we are in a globalized state, we are a modern, women are dominated by male. It's a fact, and I would like to congratulate the organizations for this topic only, because it concentrates on women. When Manisha Valmiki happens, few years ago, when Nirbhaya happens, and in many other cases, you must have a short of paper. The thing is, India is one of the biggest country in the state, in the country world. Bangla একটা কথা আছে, বৈচিত্র্যের মধ্যে ঐক্য, unity and diversity.
Right.
You will find Tamilians, you will find Keralians, Bengali, Marathi, Bihari, Odia. There are many religions, and a unified law, to make a unified law is a Herculean task in India. There are provisions. If you go by IPC or IT Act or SC/ST Act, there are several acts. We are lacking of a conclusive act.
Right.
And you cannot say that the law is silent. Law is not silent. Law is working, but implementing the law, what we have today, if you go by 345, 354C or 67 or 67 IT Act, you go by SC/ST Act, there are provisions. What you may choose a topic. If you go by a bare act, a general public cannot understand what the intention of the legislature is, because it is.
So Sushnigdho, what steps should be taken by a woman if she is being threatened and the police is not being cooperative towards her? What can she do?
I am telling you the basic problem is there is a lack of education of the police officers.
Of course.
Even a IC does not understand what is a online harassment. Forget about online harassment. What is the harassment of a woman? And the second biggest thing is, women they themselves do not understand what is harassment to them, what is harassing them.
Okay. Sushnik,
I-
provided I understand, like as a person like me, I have got lots and lots of such rubbish statements coming to me on a regular basis. Especially if you are a little active and opinionated, you're online, your opinion, constantly putting up your mind on the web. A lot of things happen to you. So, what should a woman be doing when she's taking it to the police and the police is not accepting at point of time? What are my recourses?
Telling you, this topic is a bit of more practical than that of theoretical. Okay.
Sure.
The thing is, if I go to a police station and to lodge a general diary, police is not entertaining me. Us. Why? They do not understand the cognizance of the case.
True.
This is the fact. But we do not know that there is a provision under CRPC 156 clause 3. We can directly go to the court in the district, the local jurisdiction of the area, preferred the district court or subdivisional court. We can go and lodge a written complaint before the magistrate himself, and the magistrate.
Sushnik, though.
Am I audible now?
Yeah. Sorry, continue.
Under Article 156 clause 3 of the CRPC, we are empowered to lodge a written complaint with all our grievances to the concerned magistrate of the local area, and that magistrate is empowered to direct the concerned officer in charge or the inspector in charge to take the cognizance of the matter. And I am quoting the word cognizance. This is very much essential. And what one thing I would differ from Payal. Payal stated that the consent part, that the consent of the woman is not necessary. Whether you go by 376, what is rape? It's a out topic. There is no definition of rape in the Indian Penal Code. It states without the consent of a woman. Whenever we do anything, whether we are entering into a contract or doing anything in law, consent is very much essential. Without consent, nothing can happen. One reference Payal was giving that the person were in a relationship and there was some exchange of photos and all. The girl has
No. The kind of things that I was talking about, there is no consent. Random strangers comes to girls and starts abusing you.
Just a minute. I am referring to Payal.
Okay.
Suppose the police will say, it is evident from the WhatsApp or Facebook or mail that I have sent the picture. They take the case in account of Hrithik Roshan and Kangana Ranaut. Kangana herself sent mail and she said, Hrithik ditched me. This was not fair. Kangana said, when the breach of trust came, if Hrithik would have forwarded that image to another person, that was not done on the part of Hrithik. But in this case, a woman has the right to send anything to her own man or personal thing. She has the right to share. But the man, he does not possess the right to share this video or the image to anyone else. If he does so without the consent of that woman, it amounts to a crime. That this is the thing which the police officers of any police station do not want to understand. They say, "Are তুমি তো এটা পাঠিয়েছো, আমি কেন এটার মধ্যে নাক গলাবো?"
Exactly. Yes.
Sushnik, though,
Yeah.
এই ব্যাপারে একটা বলতে চাই, just want to say that, so are you suggesting that the police officers should be trained at least so to understand what is the actual legal provisions, what is the consent, so that they can empathize with the women who can go to file the complaint?
On the part of the training of police officers, I am referring one of my case. It's a 420 case. My client is our other side is claiming that they owe 9 lakh rupees from us. I made the officer in charge. Officer in charge said it's a critical case, the client will be arrested. I said it's a 420 matter, it's cognizable. It is also compoundable in nature too. He will get bail, and accordingly we moved High Court and got bail. While filing the charge sheet, he consulted the circle inspector, an ASI of a police station. He, on a petty case like 420 of a 9 lakh, amounting of rupees 9 lakh, he is consulting his circle inspector. Then what is the issue to keep him there? You do not need any Havildar. I am telling he is in a rank of ASI. In our judicial system, a person can be a judge by two ways: either by practice, he is a practicing judge, or by servicing judge. Whoever gets cleared the whoever promotes as a servicing judge, every year they need to sit in exam, and then they are trained in West Bengal Judicial Academy. The officer in charge or the inspector in charge are being trained, but that training never reflects to the ASI or anyone else. The job of the police officers is, yes, I am in the chair, you are the weak, be it a man or a woman, you are the weakest section, come to me, give me money, I will make my report according to your wishes.
So what is the solution to it, Shusindhu? What is the solution?
The solution is, once Satyajit Ray said that in India we have a backward class of audience, and I would utter the same thing, that in India we have a backward class of citizens. That what Deepshikadi was presenting the statistics, I would say it's a 10% of the total cases.
True. This is only reported
10%.
cases.
People are reporting. If you apply for your passport, DIB will call you and I will ask you to give money to clear your documents. Everyone gets afraid of police. It's a practical reality. If you just write a mail to the SP, but we do not do that. We need to understand the hierarchy. ASI, IC, CI, SP. This we need to understand, and we need to educate others.
So, Shrindo, what are the documents
Can I come in?
you have in hand?
Can I come in?
Yes.
Who was that?
Hassan,
Yes, please, Asanda.
I've got 2 points. I mean, one is to Payal, while we are educating the system, what she has pointed out. I mean, basically our society looks at is that is onus of morality lies on women, right? We start from there. And I mean, what point she has to say on that. Second, to Shushnigdo, what you have pointed out, we have got too many laws probably. And simplifying and strengthening the existing law probably is more important, or like broadening the scope, what I think. Because for a normal person to understand law is very difficult. Even the lawyers don't understand, most of them.
True.
So coming to that means what is required from the legal point of view, simplifying the existing laws and broadening the scope, and along with it, I mean, whatever you can say, strengthening and making it strong so that it is implementable. Today, many part of the law is not implementable. So what do you like to Payal? What do you have this morality part of it? How do you think it works?
So the entire thing comes from patriarchy, Asanda. So the idea is patriarchy. First of all, till a few days back, as far as I know, I don't remember the section. The section on adultery was changed, I think, and finally a woman was, in fact, it was decriminalized, right? Adultery. Before that, a woman could not be sued. Now, as a feminist, you would say that's a good thing, that a woman cannot be sued. Only your husband can sue your lover, or etc., etc. But look at the law, where the law is coming from. The law is coming from the place that the woman does not have the agency to have an affair. Either she's misguided by the lover or misguided by the husband, whatever way you call it. So it's like property, right? You don't have the agency. It was recently changed. It was decriminalized. I think now nobody can be sued. You can only, file papers and divorce, which is a good thing. What I'm trying to say is that is where Indian law comes from. And and the law stems from patriarchy, that a
Right.
system where women are essentially property. Okay, in our marriages, in everything. If you look at the entire society, all the traditions we have, even the things that we wear in our bangles, on our nose, the necklaces, uh, animals wear them. Have you seen cows wearing ropes on their necks? It's
No.
exactly that. Through the nose also, easier to control. So it's all about control. It's all about controlling this gender, one gender, and putting coming back to your question, Ehsanda, putting the onus of morality on women makes it easier to control them. That you are to blame if something happens. You keep yourself locked. So it's like, you have something in your house, some jewelry, you keep it locked. It's your responsibility. You don't let the jewelry roam around in the street. But a woman is not jewelry.
So, Payal, what is the solution that you propose?
I mean, like I was, starting to say at that time, it's like boiling the ocean, Dipshika. We have to bring on a difference in mindset. And when we are talking about difference in mindset, it starts from the last person at the grassroots level to the highest person on our chairs. And yes, some approaches have to be top down. So when our ministers talk about, in derogatory terms about women, and they question women's moralities at every given opportunity, anything that comes up, like, why did the woman do that? And there are rallies, unfortunately, supporting the accused in rape cases. I mean, then I don't even know where to reach the grassroots from. So it's literally like boiling the ocean, Deepshika. We really don't know where to start. All we can hope is that as we talk to more and more people through these kind of forums and online, where we create safe spaces for women to speak out, where we, talk about what is harassment. First, telling women, and women are also often so conditioned to these kind of things that they don't even realize these are harassment. For example, a woman, if you give the common galis in front of a woman, which are harassment women, against, and which are abusive to women, they will not react because they have heard it right from their childhood. They think, and sometimes women will use the same galis because that's cool. Like, I'm not judging any woman for doing that. I have done at a time. I mean, maybe not specifically those, but many of the abusive words. And later, you realize that those entire set of those abusive words are about one gender. It is not gender neutral. So, finally, we want to go to lower incidences, not only higher reporting, but lower incidences of harassment. And that's the biggest task. Then comes higher reportings, and the smallest task is actually higher convictions. Because once the reporting is there, changing the system and having higher conviction rate is easier. But when there's not even the reporting happening, then you can't even, get there. So that's in that order. The biggest task is lower incidences. The second biggest is getting reporting to get higher. And, the easiest would be higher convictions. But for that smallest pie of the task also, we need a lot of training at the police and various other levels of implementation.
So
Okay,
basically,
Deepshika,
So, Sushnigdo, on the higher reporting part, can you please tell us that what should be the legal evidences that a woman should carry in order to ensure that the case is correctly reported? What are the proofs that will go unfilled?
First of all, we need to understand there is a difference between cases reported and the case got justice. Because for justice, we need to wait for the trial, and it will take near about 5 to 6 years. It's a long way.
Right.
We can lodge an FIR producing all the screenshots and supporting all the documents. But what is happening? The accused and the victim, later on, they came into agreement. In several cases, a Supreme Court stated when there is a mutual adjustment between the parties, there is a no hope for the case. And I am telling you, in most of the cases like this, and I spent on all, either they adjust or adjust financially, or they use forces.
Okay.
Until and unless we have the guts or we have the stand to fight till the end, you will not get any final report. What is getting, you see, in any case, if consider NDPS case or rape case or thief case, if 100 cases are been registered, 10% in 10% cases the conviction is done. So, rest of them are acquitted.
Okay, Deepshika.
Yeah, we should open the forum for everybody to ask
Deepshika,
questions. Yes,
Deepshika, would you allow me to serve some of my half-baked ideas?
please, go ahead.
Okay, actually, this is for Shusnigdo, because you see, India is going digital, and the day by day we will be going digital more. So all these sort of problems will be coming up, in a tremendous manner. In say 10 years from now, it will be the menace will be unmanageable, because the problem is that in a country we are living where men consists of 53% and women 47%. So that gap suggests that there will be harassment against women. This is very simple. Now, as far as my experience goes, in working field against the harassment of the women, I find that the Vishakha system that was devised by Supreme Court, that has done quite a good job, because Vishakha system has provided some sort of cushion for the woman. Now, can there be any such system devised specifically for this in this field? And another thing, that what I find that there is intermingling of IT Act and IPC, because nobody knows that which act will act at what point of time. There is very thin line of separation. Now, can there be a system that particularly the cyber crime against women, all this will form part under the IPC, and perhaps a separate court can be initiated, a system of separate court, so that, because this problem will go up and up, and women will be vulnerable very easily. They are really vulnerable, because online harassment, this is very easy. You cannot manage it. There has to be some out of the box thinking.
Okay,
I find Vishakha system acted really well.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Barthoda. Can we have everybody from the audience to put their questions in the chat box, so that we can have more participation from everyone?
Can I answer Barthoda's question?
Yeah,
Yeah,
please. Go ahead.
Partha asked a very relevant question. Please,
Yeah.
please think of.
Yeah, please go ahead.
The thing is, whichever the government is, state government or the central government, no government wants independence of the judiciary. It's a harsh reality.
Absolutely.
You see, after the lockdown, BSNL, Calcutta High Court Registrar General contacted BSNL that thus the entire court can be digitalized. BSNL quoted 8 crore rupees, and the state government stated we do not have that much of amount to invest. And later on, Mamata Banerjee will go to the assembly and will say this is the issue. The thing is, when it comes to cyber cases, there are some cyber police stations, but that is negligible in what number we want. Another thing is what we have in our hand, that is, we have the Lal Bazaar cyber cell. I have witnessed in several cases, if you mail them properly with all the screenshots and with supporting documents, they do take initiative. It is not, on the one hand, I am blaming the police that they do not do, they are least bothered about others. They are in the chair and they want money. But on another part is, there are some officers and some cells which actually works. In that case, Lal Bazaar cyber cell works. Another thing, it comes to the Kolkata jurisdiction. Those people who stay in Howrah or North Chobbish Pargana or Hooghly or anything, they can directly mail it to SP, because we do not have that much of cyber police station. We have few women police station. What we require, in every police station, there must be a cyber cell. We do not need anything. We need a laptop and a person who will sit and will monitor the concerned mail ID twice a day. That is sufficient, I think. But we do not have that infrastructure also. The court says what? we can personally go and lodge a complaint.
Perhaps the next generation police officers will be more well equipped.
Sorry.
Perhaps the next generation police officers will be more well equipped.
I don't think so. Don't take me otherwise. There must be a level.
Krishnikda, you're being too much pessimistic about it. Okay, there's a question from Mr. Biman Chatterjee, and I think this is more towards Payal. Do we have any statistics of which age group or socio-economic group are mostly behind all these crimes? This question is more from a constructive point of view to identify and bring them under rectification. Payal. Payal, you have to unmute.
Mr. Chatterjee, the only answer I can give you, there's one socioeconomic group which is mostly behind these crimes. It's men. There's no other stratification of that data, and I would say fortunately, because this is not a problem of a particular socioeconomic group. It is a problem of patriarchy, and patriarchy is everywhere in the world. I mean, I don't see any country that has risen above patriarchy. There is less and more. There is just a question of less and more, and even the so-called advanced societies, they are not above it. So that socioeconomic, you're right, socioeconomic, strata that has to be worked upon is men. It's not women. Is the time for that? I would say that.
My question was more from how to rectify this problem, because
Right.
there might be a group which are deliberately doing this, and there might be another group which do not consider that they are making a crime. So,
Mr. Chatterjee, I understand where you're coming from. I understand that men, you want to have a set of good men and a set of bad men. I mean, I understand. But like when we say that, let's say, if I'm a woman, but I also have certain privileges. So if I belong to any oppressor socioeconomic strata, any kind of oppressor socioeconomic strata, and I'm silent when another socioeconomic strata is being oppressed, then I'm part of the problem. So men who are good men should stop being silent now. If you're hearing other men making slurs against a woman, even giving abusive words, saying abusive words, can't you stop them? If they are talking about women in a derogatory way, simple, very Bengali word, malta jacche, ki mal. I'm giving you, because I'm a girl from Calcutta.
But Mrs. Bose, the problem is the first person who will stop that man not to go for it is a woman, either his mother or his wife.
No. You are again putting the blame, I mean, not blame or the onus or responsibility on the mother or the wife. But why the mother?
Reality.
Because he
That's
won't
very
know.
easy.
Let me ask you this. When you said your first abusive word, did you say it in front of your mother or did you say it in front of a friend?
I can't remember.
Probably in front of a friend, because your mother, she would have stopped you. Ma to shala bolte ho boka dito.
That is when one-to-one. That is when we are dealing one-to-one.
No, I'm trying to ask you that the point is, yes, mothers will anyway stop you. Which mother will not stop us if, I'm sorry, which mother will not stop us if we are trying to, give abusive, galis, for example? Which mother will not tell us when we are children that don't do this? Even as elders, adults, our mothers stop us. So no, the onus is not on mothers anymore. The onus is on men who keep quiet and listen to it.
Sorry for taking a few seconds more.
Sure.
I think that even if you watch some recent Bengali movies or some movies, there also you find the actors, the main lead actor is easily using this language. So I think that yes, the penalization, the law and everything is there. Those are all rearguard action after the event has happened. But before the event has happened, we probably can do something which is a mix of, some kind of an awareness.
I absolutely agree with you. I absolutely
I'm not going for any propaganda like Swachh Bharat was nothing. But at least you can feel the railway stations have become much cleaner, etc., etc. It's not a question of credit or discredit. Cigarette smoking is injurious to health. over a period of time, the smokers' number have reduced. So I'm not even saying, contradicting what you are saying. You are absolutely
Okay,
correct that
okay,
patriarchy is there.
Taking
Okay,
a cue from what Bimanda said, I will just take a second from everybody and try to quickly pitch in that tomorrow there is um, um, uh, initiative from Congress whereupon you are supposed to speak up for women's safety. I will request everybody, all the 30 participants who are present here, to kindly put up your videos, come online, go to Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, wherever you have accounts, and please spread the awareness about women's safety. It is very, very important. And you can put this video also with a hashtag on your own accounts so that that can also add up to the awareness that we are talking about spreading. Yeah, Pat, please continue.
Yeah,
Deepshika,
Vidya
can we
has
go
a
to the other
question.
questions?
Yes, yes. Okay,
Yeah.
so there is one interesting question from Vidya Singhania. Vidya, if you can unmute yourself, the question is, what about one woman bullying another or sharing her screenshots on social media platform? Does that also come under cyberbullying and invite the same punishment?
Yes,
This
it
question
does.
is to Shruti.
It does.
Okay.
Shusnigdo will be able to clarify, but it definitely does, because
I
I didn't
think
see any one-way thing in laws. And by the way, I mean, I'll just like to clarify one point here. Just give me 1 minute, Shusnigdo. That as a feminist, it doesn't mean that we only want laws one-sided. On the opposite end, we actually want laws to be absolutely equal. So yes, Mrs.
Okay, who is
Singhania.
that? Sorry about that. Shanku, please mute yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, so we want laws to be equal, because we don't want to be on a pedestal, and we don't want to be treated like property, both ways. We don't want to be on a pedestal, so don't put us on a pedestal and say that you are a devi. We have the same problems men have. We have the same issues. We have the same greed, the pettiness, the generosity, good things, bad things, everything. We are just human beings. So all genders, I'm not only speaking for women here, but all genders. I mean, don't put anyone on a pedestal, and don't put anybody as less than you. So equality is all that is the demand.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
What are the steps the government should
can I say
what
something?
are the steps the
Yes.
government should take to curb online harassment against women? What are the steps that the
I
government?
think Shusnigdo was supposed to answer that question. I took
Yes,
in.
and also, yeah,
Yeah.
that's a you can
I am
Both.
answering two questions together.
Sorry.
What Ashanda said, that law is not simple. It is true, Ashanda. Law is not simple, and law is not for all. Understanding the law is not for all. Don't take me otherwise, but law is for all, because it's a professional thing. You need to understand it professionally. And what you correctly stated, most of the lawyers, I would like to say 70% of the lawyers in India do not understand what the constitution or what the penal code says. We misinterpret. This is what we read while in the law, studying in the law school. Interpretation of laws, interpretation of statutes, this differs. Another thing is what what Vidya Singhania said. Law is not equal, I will say. What Payal said, the women are not property. Most of the laws are for the women only. Law treats men as always an accused. It's a fact. You will not see any case where a woman harassed a man and that has been lodged as a case. You go, a wife will go to a police station and lodge a complaint against her husband. The case will be registered. When the vice versa happens, police will say, বেঁচে গেছেন, বউ থাকতে চাইছে না, ছেড়ে দিন, ঝামেলা করতে হবে না. Law is not equal, never.
But Shruti, though, this should not be the mindset, isn't it? This should not be the way it should be.
But
But
the law
you-
doesn't restrict it, right, Mr. Shusnigdo? That's what my point was. The law would not restrict.
If you consider the larger scenario,
Correct. Implementation is a problem, and patriarchy is the problem there again.
no, if you consider the
You are-
larger
yes.
scenario, if you go to Rajasthan, if you go to Haryana, if you go to Himachal, you will see the actual scene. In Bengal, women are in a much better position. I'm telling you, there is a huge gap. If you go to Delhi, you visit Khan Market, you visit any other posh area, and you go to Chandni Chowk, see a status of the woman there. our the objective of law is no one should be in a worse situation. We need to
What
see
are the
everyone-
steps that the government should take to curb this kind of harassment?
government has taken many steps, be it BJP government, be it say Congress government in the center, but central government cannot do everything for you. The law and order situation lays in the hands of the state governments. You
Yes,
see
that
what
is the
happened-
question. What state government
see
should
what-
do?
you see what happened in the UP case. What is the role of the courts, be it High Court or the Supreme Court? They can't register a suo motu case. We are shouting that you lodge a suo motu case. You can lodge a suo motu case against Prashant Bhushan and you can penalize him for 1 rupee. You in the case of Manisha Balmiki, you are not saying anything. The courts are silent. We can do a movement, we can do many things, but the powers are not in our hand. Either it is in the hand of the judiciary or in the hand of the administration.
So today, I think, Sushnigdha, even the judiciary is failing the
I do
public.
agree.
I think they are probably failing more than the police forces.
As a student of law, I must say, I have seen the worst court in India is the Supreme Court. Worst
Yeah,
court.
kind of.
But-
High courts are better than.
I am telling you, Calcutta High Court, Calcutta
Satanda.
High Court, Calcutta, Allahabad, Bombay, all the chartered high courts are much better than the Supreme Court.
Asanda, Shushmit, I think we are digressing.
What
Can I say
needs
something?
to what? No, follow.
I think we are digressing from the topic, but the
And I
question
think our
was
time is
categorically.
also getting
No.
over. So we have
Okay.
another 10 minutes. We have to wrap up in between. that.
Okay, but that's a problem. But the question was directly, and it's a very relevant question. What the government should take the steps. That was the question. Shushing though, I mean, what is the actual situation? We know we are not analyzing that. What the ideal steps that the government should take? That is what we should focus on.
There is contradicting views of the law. On the one hand, Article 14 says equality before law, equal protection of law. On the other hand, Article 15(3) says it considers women and children are the weaker. Then how you implement those? If you consider both men and women are equal under Article 14(3), Article 15(3) violates. If you go by Article 15(3), where women and children are the weaker section and you need to protect them, then Article 14 violates. And another thing I will say, it may be harassment case or rape case or any other case lodged by the woman. Out of the 100 cases, there are 15 to 20 cases which are false and fabricated. In that case, men are harassed.
Mr. Devashish Konal.
Can I just add in a little bit here,
Yeah,
if you
please.
don't mind?
Please fine.
So, of course, I mean, Mr. Bhattacharya, which law is there which is not abused?
Sorry?
Which section, which law is there which is not abused
Not
by some
abused.
people or the other?
Absolutely.
Abuse
Laws are
means
there to be
used
abused, I think.
wrongly. Every law is used. So that way,
Or
like I
circumvented.
said earlier, exactly, like I said earlier, women are not devis. They are not going to be your 100%, no false accusations. It cannot be. That's why I said, come to an equal platform. Let's say that women are equal first. And when we are talking about the, weaker section, when we talk about the constitution calling women weaker section, it's time we interpret that as oppressed section. It is high time. We have written it. I know we have it written as weaker section, but it is high time that lawyers like you take it forward and say that the interpretation should be it is the oppressed section, which is the fact. Same as we deal with other stratas. For example, when we talk about the ABA community, they are not weaker, they are oppressed. So that distinction is very important in law. And when a section is oppressed, there are laws which are there to protect them specifically, even though the laws can be gender neutral or neutral to situations. For example, a law which is protective of women, for example, laws on rape. Of course, most rape cases are on women, so automatically it is thought to be a law to protect women. But it can be gender neutral. That if a woman rapes a man, give her equal punishment. Nobody is saying no to that. However, like you pointed out, because of patriarchy, these cases are not at all registered because men find it much more difficult to come ahead and report rape. That's also truth. Again, side note, men's rapes also are done mostly by men. Side note. Very, very rare cases when actually a woman rapes a man. I won't get into that. But the fact is, patriarchy itself stops men from coming forward and reporting any kind of abuse, rapes, because as soon as they report it, everybody laughs at them and, it becomes a question of their manliness. Manliness itself is a patriarchal construct.
So I would like to differ in this case. The concept in law, we say what is the intention of the legislature. You can shout, I can shout, everyone can shout, but ultimately the lawmakers in the assembly or in the parliament, they will decide because they represent us, they represent the mass people. It is the presumption of law. What I said, Article 15(3), you need to keep one, you cannot keep two. Either if you keep Article 14, you need to abolish Article 15(3). On the other hand, if you keep Article 15(3), you need to abolish Article 14. But the thing is, what is the mentality? You are speaking up, you are coming, you are shouting for the woman. What is the actual percentage of women who want equality? That you need to also do. Because just a minute. I'm concluding.
In our country, women are not allowed to take birth to match up the numbers with the men. In that society we are living.
That is, I'm telling you, if you consider
that for Article 14 and 15(3), that difference is because of that. That is the beauty of the Anglo-Saxon jurisprudence.
That I agree.
Okay. We are extremely digressing from the point, and we are the fag end of the.
But what about the courts?
No.
What about the special courts?
Can I add something, please?
I didn't get that
Can I
answer.
add something, please? Can I add something, please?
That's 1 minute. Yeah, please. Go ahead.
If you do not have special police station, we cannot expect for special court. First of all, we need to lodge complaint. Then the matter will go to court.
Let Rajdeep come in. Rajdeep, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much for this. It takes a lot of guts, especially for Deepshika and Payal Ghosh to discuss on such topics. We are very much thankful to you. Thank you, Shushigno, for taking this to the legal angle. My question is to Chandanda, Ehsan Bhai, and all the state members who are here, is that probably can we just have a legal cell in the PCC premises which will address such issues, because with the increasing number of WhatsApp users and Facebook users, people, especially women, might find a little difficult to approach directly to the police. So can the state Congress play a role here, and we can open a special section inside the PCC premises and take it forward?
I think it's a very good idea.
I also think so.
Okay, if I have to say a few words about it, yes, it's a great idea, and there are opportunities to work on this subject. But saying yes or no to this subject, to this decision is not correct, because it involves PCC. So we will take it up in a different platform. So thank you very much for raising this. It's part of
Chandanda, isn't that a legal aid cell in PCC? Some legal aid cell?
We already have a
that
legal
probably
cell.
needs to be streamlined or something. I mean, anyway, it's just throwing an idea.
We do not need to discuss this here in this platform now. So, but the point is noted. Rajdeep, it's a valid point. Thank you very much for raising.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
There is one last point that I would like to make before we actually wrap this up. And if you can see my screen, the objectives of having this interactive in the first place, one of the major objectives was to design a pilot project like Cyber Safe Women to facilitate complaint registration and quick action. Chandanda, your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I agree that, this is, as a matter of fact, if I have to say, this is a very, very important and sensitive subject. We all know that, right? We can go on arguing on many things. But I have a view on this. I feel that, till the time you can have laws and there will be lawbreakers, right? And but if you have to improve, we have to improve as a society. Unless we start respecting each other, men and women, as a human being, it is not going to change. We have seen that, and we talk about diversity. Why do we talk about that? Because, it really produces results, right? when men and women come together, it's a revolution, a revolution of ideas, revolution of actions. So we need to respect each other. So yes, we need to know law. Yes, we need to know where the harassments are. And I am surprised to see the statistics which you mentioned, Payal, that only 480 cases are reported. I mean,
And-
come on, so it means that our awareness level is low, and it talks about working on that area. At least my point is that on AIPC platform, AIPC is an organization for professionals, and let us demonstrate the values that we are talking about. All those values we are saying that will help the society. Can we show that in AIPC we respect each other, we really support each other, we come together as a team, men and women, and we are creating huge impact on the society? If we can do that, we have the right to stand up and go to somebody else, other cells of PCC, or outside, other Bengal politicians, that AIPC stands for these values, and we would like others to practice this value. That's from my point. Yes, we will. The objective that you mentioned, Deepsika, we as a leadership team will take it up. We'll see that what can be done, what is the next step forward. But since we have to conclude now, so once again I thank both Payal and Susnigdho. You have done a wonderful job. I really learned. I said I'm going to learn few statistics, few informations, and if you can share this with us tomorrow, we can use it for our campaign. And with these few words, I hand over to the organizers. If you can.
Chandanda, if I'm audible to all of you, I need
Yes,
to
you are,
add.
Rajdeep. Yes.
Yes, Rajdeep.
So, one point that me and Chandanda had discussed when we were starting with the organization build-up after our coming into the picture was to address these kind of issues within AIPC. So the
Right.
first point that probably would be essential from our side, and we had a discussion on this one. Me and Chandanda were aligned on this one. Is that if similar kind of issues happen within the current AIPC organization, do we have a panel of people to whom somebody can reach out?
Exactly.
So that is not currently in place, and मतलब घर की सफाई जो है वो घर से शुरुआत होनी चाहिए. So what I would propose, and we had a discussion on this one. Me and Chandra had discussed upon this, but we had some other things as a priority. Now that this platform is there, we are here, we are talking with each other. Probably what I would suggest is that we need to have a committee which can address these kind of questions coming into the picture, and primarily it should be based out of all the women's members that we are having around. So Chandanda, I propose that something should be there to address anything from AIPC, internal AIPC point of view. I believe who are erstwhile AIPC guys who have been there with AIPC for last few years would understand the importance of this thing, because I don't want to go into much into it, but I feel that there has to be a way out or a roadmap given to the guys in case anybody within AIPC feels like that. So there is a very need of having a Vishaga sort of committee within the AIPC itself, West Bengal,
Right,
primarily consisting of the women members, so that somebody can address those issues.
Rajdeep, I fully endorse you, as we have discussed, that we will have that. But I only hope and pray that panel will be there, but they will have no work, because we are supposed to stand up for values. Otherwise, we have got no right to call us as a professional. If we are professionals, that panel will set up, and end of the year, our responsibility is to ensure that they have zero work. This
Right.
only panel I do
Wow.
not want to work.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Wonderful.
Closing comments, Ehsanda, Krishnendu.
I think I'll leave it to Krishnendu because this program was his brainchild. I'll leave it to Krishnendu as this was his brainchild. So I think let him close it.
Right.
Yes, Krishnendu.
Thank you, Asanda. Thank you, Deepshika. I would like to thank both Susnigdho and Payal for the wonderful thoughts that we have shared with us. And yes, AIPC South Kolkata chapter, being the secretary, I can say that it is just the beginning, that we are working on women empowerment issues, we are working on gender equality issues. And this is just the first step that we have taken. And I would like to thank everybody who have participated in this seminar. There are a lot of points that we have raised. There are a lot of questions which are not being answered till now, and we will find the answers in the future. And so, as I have said, that this is just the beginning. We will have more such seminars in the future, and our fight against gender inequality, our fight for women empowerment will not end unless and until we will have the answer to all the questions. Thank you very much to everybody, and we will meet again someday in some other platform on some other issues. Till then, be with us, and good night to all.
Thanks
Thank you,
a lot,
Krishnendu.
everybody.
Thanks, Payal.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you.
for
Thank
joining.
you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks to the lovely audience.
Thank you very much.